Welcome everyone to this week's news video, and I've got to start with an apology. Last week I didn't do the 3 things I would do next week, which is a feature we started a few weeks ago at the end of these videos. Now I could make up some cock and bull story about, I don't know, editing issues or technical issues of some kind or another, or flat battery on the camera. The truth is I completely forgot, so I apologise for that. Now we're in September, which is our favourite month of the year. And if I spin the camera around at the moment and show you what I can see, you'll find out why. This is the view I'm looking at, so you can see why we love September so much. A light breeze, beautiful, beautiful, deep blue skies. Right, let's crack on with the news, and something that's made international news this week is that a young lady died, unfortunately, a 30-year-old lady, after being attacked by a shark. The shark took her leg off. Now, it's been reported in a lot of the international press that this happened in the Canaries, or in some papers were saying in Canarian waters. Neither are true. It's really not related to the islands at all, except for one small fact. The incident took place about 500 kilometres from here, from the Canary Islands. And the only involvement the islands had with this was that the Moroccan authorities called for assistance because they didn't have a rescue helicopter available. So a maritime rescue helicopter was dispatched from the Canary Islands to go and pick this lady up. They got there, they winched her into the aircraft. Sadly, she died en route back to Las Palmas. But it really, we don't have shark attacks where people are eaten or killed here at all. So please don't worry about that and ignore whatever the newspapers are telling you. It didn't happen anywhere near the Canary Islands. But what we do have occasionally is jellyfish, and there's been a report this week that there are some jellyfish at Playa Dorada in Playa Blanca. The beach hasn't been closed. I don't think there are huge numbers of them, but they have been seen in the water this week. We get them occasionally, not very often. When they do come in, the lifeguards very quickly notify people, and you'll see signs up warning about them. Just keep your eyes open, do your best to avoid them, don't step on them, and avoid them in the water. They only stay here for a few days and then they move on. So I have no doubt that within the next 2 or 3 days, that report will disappear and there won't be any jellyfish on Playa Dorada. Now, last weekend was the annual Raria de Dolores, and this is the annual pilgrimage that islanders do from various parts of the island to the little village of Blanca, where we are told that a prayer to the Virgin Dolores stopped the lava flow in the Big Timan fire eruptions. And if you go to the little church in Blanca at any time, you can see actually just right on the edge of the church the point at which the lava flow stopped and therefore didn't engulf the village of Blanca. And this annual pilgrimage is one of the most moving things. Julie and I do it pretty much every year. Unfortunately, I couldn't do it this year because I had a bad ankle. But Julie went ahead and did it on our behalf. And this year she walked from Uga to Blanca, which is about a 15k walk. And we all do it. Probably 60, 70, maybe even 80% of islanders do this pilgrimage in traditional Canarian costume. And it's just so moving seeing people walking along, going to Blanca to give thanks and to enjoy the craft fair there. And once again this year, thousands partook, and from all points of the island you could see pilgrims walking in their Canarian dress, having a good time and enjoying each other's company. I love it, and if you're ever here in early September, it's one to aim to enjoy. There was an interesting move by Arrecife Town Hall, the Ayuntamiento of Arrecife, this week, where they are going to create a new meeting place for people from different immigrant communities to come together. Around 20% of the population of Arrecife is immigrants, predominantly from South America, but a lot of British people as well. And the idea behind this is that all of those different communities will be able to meet up, get together, and kind of immerse themselves in the culture of Lanzarote and the Canary Islands and become more integrated into the society there. I think that's a good move and I like the sound of it. But while we're talking about immigration, this time of year, almost every year without fail, is the busiest time for the small immigrant boats coming across from Africa. They generally come in pateras, which are small wooden boats, but quite a lot are coming over in pneumaticos, which are inflatable boats like Zodiacs. And what happens is that in September, when the wind drops and the waves drop in the Atlantic, the numbers increase, and we've had a big flood of small boats coming in over the last week or so. They tend to be put up here. At the moment, they're being put up in tents in Arrecife, and then they will eventually be put on either to other islands like Gran Canaria or to the mainland of Spain, where they will be processed to see if they have a legitimate asylum claim. I think it's all over the international press at the moment, but it happens every year without fail. Personally, I always spare a thought for the thousands that don't make it, because the Atlantic is pretty inhospitable in a small boat, and we know for sure that at least 700 have died trying to make that crossing this year. The reality is the numbers are probably significantly higher because there must be so many more we don't know about. So let's spare a thought for those poor people. Now, this is the point at which I ask you please to subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so already, and do give us a like if you like the video, or a dislike. You can give a dislike on YouTube if you don't like it, but more importantly, if there's something you don't like, please give us a bit of feedback. We're always really interested to hear a comment from you, and we read every single one of them and respond to any questions you have. Once again, thank you from both Julie and I for watching these videos. We really appreciate every single view. An interesting story this week, we saw that TripAdvisor are pulling out of their private holiday lettings business. And they were doing that with three brands, Flipkey, Holiday Lettings and Niumba. And people on the TripAdvisor site were able to make bookings directly through TripAdvisor to stay in apartments and villas here in Lanzarote, for example. They've decided to bin that part of their business. They say it was only worth about 10% of their overall revenue. And anyone who has bookings with TripAdvisor or those three companies for after the 1st of November will already have received a cancellation notice and a refund of any monies paid. It seems that they have decided to connect the clients directly with the owners of the properties they were booked in. So hopefully they've just been able to, re-cement their booking, this time direct with the owner, but rather than through TripAdvisor. Very sad story from last weekend. A British man was found dead in Papagayo. We don't quite know what's happened in his particular case so far. It seems that he was walking between two of the beaches at Papagayo. He did call his son, I believe, to tell him he wasn't feeling very well. And by the time the emergency services got there, he had unfortunately passed away. Like I say, we don't know what happened with him. It could just have been that he died of natural causes. But it is worth making the point here that, the island's pretty inhospitable. It's a very hot place. It's a very dry place. It's rocky in parts. It's easy to fall over and hurt yourself. So, please take care when you're going out hiking here. Make sure you've got sun cream on. Make sure you're wearing a hat for protection from the sun. You've got plenty of water and you're wearing suitable shoes. I'm horrified at how often I see people walking in places like Papagayo in flip-flops. It really just is not safe. And you don't get any support for your ankles if you do go over on an uneven bit or on a rock. So do take care. And finally, when you're going out for a walk, particularly on your own, as this gentleman was, make sure somebody knows exactly where you are and what route you're planning to take and roughly what time you're due back. The easiest thing is just to leave a note on reception at your hotel and just say, look, this is what's happening. If I'm not back by 4 o'clock or whatever, please call out the emergency services. And we found out this week that there is a possibility that the Pope will be coming to the Canary Islands in the next couple of years. Obviously, Spain is a very strongly Catholic country and a very religious country, and everyone's very excited here at the prospect of Pope Francis coming to the Canary Islands. It's been rumoured for some time, but he, or his press office, I guess, did confirm this week that the Canary Islands is one of the places on his potential itinerary for 2025 or 26. So we'll keep you posted on that story. Well, that's it on the news front this week, and all I have to do is remember to do the thing I forgot to do last week, which is tell you about the 3 things that I would do if I was on the island next week. Now, bear in mind, you can always visit our website. Go to what'son.lanzaroteinformation.co.uk or go to the main Lanzarote Information website and just click the What's On button. And that will take you to a part of the site where you can see everything that's coming up. Susanna, who works with us, does a brilliant job of keeping that up to date. And you can look at today, tomorrow, the next week or whatever, but you can also put your dates in. So if you're here, for example, from the 5th to the 15th of October, you can put your dates in and see what's going on the island while you're here. Now, the first thing I would do over the next 7 days, and this is actually taking place this Saturday, is I would go to an event at Chiringuito Tropical, which is on the seafront, on the promenade in Playa Blanca, down towards the lighthouse, but not quite as far as the lighthouse. And it's right on the seafront. It's just a beautiful location. We've been to lots of events this year. This particular one is a show cooking and DJ event featuring Spain's master chef, Alberto Marin. And he'll be doing some show cooking, and he'll be cooking lots of interesting things, and then there'll be a DJ providing music and funk and all sorts of interesting vibes. I'm just going to look down at my laptop here to see the menu, and it includes street tacos, pita gin sangria, a Stoli vodka cocktail, okay, that sounds good, an Iberian ham mini toaster, and a surprise tapper by somebody called Gonzalo Calzadilla. I don't know who Gonzalo is, but presumably he's also a well-known chef. And then there'll be a mini concert with Alberto and his guitar performing with the DJ Carlos Chauvode. So there you go, that's something I would do this Saturday the 21st, and it starts at 7 p.m. Now, the next one I would do is something that happens every Thursday from 9 p.m. until 11 p.m. And that's at the Hotel La Isla y el Mar in Puerto del Carmen. It's on the road going out from town towards the Toro roundabout at the top end of the old town, if that makes sense. And they have a silent disco every Thursday evening. And it just sounds like fun. It's adults only, and it's one of those ones where you wear your headphones and you're getting the music, but there's no noise for the other people staying in the hotel. I've been to a couple of those, and they are just interesting and fun, and a different way to have a dance in your own little world, but with other people around you as well. So I would do that next Thursday if I was on the island. Of course I am anyway, but I'm talking about on the island for a holiday. And finally, next Friday, the 27th, I would go to Arif En Vivo. It's an absolutely brilliant event. It's free of charge. Anyone can rock up and do it. And it's kind of a moving music event. So it starts off in the evening at El Islote de Fermina, just off the coast of Arrecife. You can walk to there from behind the Arrecife Grand Hotel. The first concert takes place there with a bit of live music, and then you'll walk into another venue in town being led by a band of musicians who are absolutely brilliant. So it's kind of a bit like the carnival vibe as you walk to the next venue, and then you'll see more musicians, and then you'll go on to a third venue, and so on and so forth. And you'll find chiringuitos set up where you can buy drinks along the way, and the atmosphere is just absolutely magic. So that's what I would be doing on Friday the 27th. And that starts at 6 p.m. in the evening, so get along to that and enjoy it next week. That's it for this week. I hope so much that you've enjoyed it. I've certainly enjoyed putting it together for you. And remember, we'll be back here every Saturday morning with the local news from Lanzarote and 3 things you should do if you're on the island the following week. Once again, thanks for watching and bye for now.